Mix, baby.
I wanted to talk a little bit about what I call Jackson Wonderlust. There is a particular, definitively R&B sound that came out of Motown. I wouldn't say that it is Motown. I understand that Motown, for many, is considered R&B music, but I would more so put it in a popular music category, and R&B, I think, very much exists between this tension of soul and popular, widespread crossover American music that anybody can love. I mean, I think you see the same tension between funk and disco, for example. You see the grittier side, and then you see the softer pop side. The idea that I'm talking about, I think, was envisioned. This tension was envisioned in the movie Dreamgirls between Beyonce's character and Effie. Between the soul, the blues tradition of living fully, of embracing all of it, the good and the bad, versus the love and abandonment that I think that a lot of pop music is about. It's either I hate you or I love you, and you can do anything, and you can just tear my heart out. And why? And to be clear here. When you listen to soul music, they can be saying, while that singer might be saying, you can tear my heart out, but at the same time, you hear the rhythm is pushing it, they're grinding against these various beats, and it's most evident in the polyrhythmic beats, but to hear how the beat works against this sadness, so it's almost like you can have a do. But at the end of the day, he's saying, I can't help it. Almost like a Billie Holiday. If you listen to Strange Fruit, and she's saying how strange it is, but and how sad it is, but there's something very defiant in that. And I think the blues is that line of embracing the sadness, but at the same time, the defiance, the willingness to say, I'm going to, and this is where the other trope comes from, witness and, importantly, testify. So I'm going to witness to this sadness, go through it. This is my body is going through this love, this heartache, or these sad times, be it master's whip, or, be it the economy's whip. And I'm going to embrace that because that feeds my power. It's something that pop culture plays a lot with in superheroes. Look at the show Heroes, to be exact, and how there's one character in particular, or a couple of characters, that they gain their strength from the other characters in various ways. There's one character, Samuel, who's able to move the earth, and the more of the heroes he's around, the better off he is. Sounds like Motown, right? Siler, of course, goes around murdering people, but he finds out later that he can actually learn to empathize with people. Empathy. And that's how he can embrace the power of others. And I think that that's what the blues music is about. It's not about sympathy for that person's situation. It's about empathy. The difference is I'm not standing here on stage for you to look at me and listen to me and be entertained. I'm standing here to witness something, to testify about something that I witnessed. You're here to witness my testimonial. Think about the Black church. Think about a Mahalia Jackson performance in a chapel. You can see this on YouTube. In a chapel versus in a concert hall. Where you have the people, I feel like shouting. And she just shouts, something she would never do in concert. But when she's in that chapel, I feel like shouting. And she's going, and she's doing this in front of people who are witnessing her testimonial, and they themselves get up. I testify. I hear what you're saying. That's something that's a very strong blues tradition. I think that we've sort of labeled it as a blues tradition in the New World. This tradition is not unique to us in this part of the African diaspora. And you see its roots, the blues, You can go to Timbuktu. You can go to Alifata Couture. You can go to Rokia Traore. She's a Shodina. You can go to Ami Queta, and you hear this blues. You can go to Umusangare and you hear this blues tradition, what we call blues in North America. And so when I hear Jackson Wonderlust, this group of people, that Barry Gordy created, that we brought together and said, here, go out, produce, perform. And what's curious about them is that they had to leave Motown. They had to leave that crossover environment to really be in touch with, the music that changed the world. Both Stevie Wonder and Michael Jackson and also Marvin Gaye, Stevie Wonder had to have creative, autonomy within Motown to do it. So did Marvin Gaye, but I think he left. I'm not sure, he didn't have to leave because he married married into Barry Gordy's family, which is also kind of a deal that Michael Jackson had to have some autonomy. But the more autonomy they got, the better their music got. The less that they were trying to cross over, and the more that they were just saying, this is some bad stuff. And so I listened to I Can't Help It, and it's a song written by Stevie Wonder, made famous by Michael Jackson. And when you hear it, and then when you hear Stevie Wonder performing it in tribute to Michael Jackson, you're like, damn, it's almost like, if Stevie could get up and just dance, what would he look like? Well, actually, as much as I've tried to fake the funk, as much as you can see me in my, you make my whole up. Oh my God, I messed up his lyrics. He said, you make my heart a burning fire, not my whole. But I'll be jamming. But I think as much as I can do, it's actually Michael Jackson who was a real personification of that Stevie Wonder. Now, they're two different people. I'm not saying that they're one and the same. But if you had to see what is Stevie? With all this music, if you add to it dance, and you get Michael Jackson, Jackson Wonderlust. Around that same time, Stevie was doing backup for Let's Get Serious, the part Serious for Jermaine. I think Michael's doing backups in that song as well. But then All I Do is think about. You hear that All I Do, that rhythm. That's what the Jacksons. Stevie Wonder and the Jacksons have been working together since. And the magic they've created, think about fulfilling this personality. You haven't done nothing. Sing it for me, Jackie, he says. Sing it for me one more time. And the magic that those people have created together, I think, is really the face of modern, not just modern pop music. And why I think that this, I Can't Help It, with the same chords that you hear in Stevie Wonder's You Got It Bad Girl and Talking Book, why it's definitively R&B is that it has this, and what makes it different from soul is this beat, this rhythm, this danceable, funky, rhythm of the rhythm and blues of R&B, and it maintains this blues sentiment. It's like definitively R&B music, classically, and it's important to look at that. It's important that we teach our kids about this music because the sort of sellout stuff that we have Beyonce, doing I Can't Help It in tribute to Michael Jackson, but at the same time, she's the same woman that takes off her clothes and talks about little else other than herself. And the bins, she's got so many bins and binges that I think she's sort of blinded by the glow of Jackson Wonderlust and not really seeing that those artists really have social political messages, always have. A lot of it is love, but it's not just love for not sake, but because love is in need of love. And that's R&B. And I think most definitively we have Jackson Wonderlust.
Need you, got to have it, love you, baby, please be my